currently underway in the recall election against Governor Gavin Newsom, and on September 14th, another date you have to keep in mind. You want to save the state. We're going to find out if the Golden State turns red. Right now, 46 candidates are running to replace Newsom. Should the voters decide to recall him? There's one question: do you want him recalled? That's question number one. Question number two is who do you want to replace him? But the standout, the guy leading, is Larry Elder. He's a radio talk show host. I spoke at length with him today as we toured the South Central neighborhood where he grew up. Here's what we learned. Larry Elder grew up in this neighborhood of South Central LA. He graduated from Crenshaw High School right behind me. He ended up becoming an outspoken radio host, a columnist. You see him all the time on television. But now, he wants to be the man who replaces liberal California Governor Gavin Newsom. Larry, everyone says, look, the odds are against you. What's the magic sauce you have?
Well, I was born and raised here. I'm from the hood. I went to Crenshaw High School. I could talk about issues like choice in public school in a way that gives me more credibility, I think, than the average Republican.
The crime in this state it's just devastating. As governor, what do you do there given Prop 47, which is already on the books? Anything under $950, you're not really seeing a lot of police activity on.
I'll tell you what I won't do. I won't release 20,000 prisoners early because of coronavirus. And based on stats, most of them are likely to reoffend. Gavin Newsom has. It's something like 70,000 people since he's been governor have been released early. Many of them have been violent offenders. I won't do that. I won't have this false narrative that the police are out to get black people. 81% of black people, according to a recent poll, say they want the police manpower to remain the same or to be increased. This is just common sense stuff. That's one of the reasons why a majority of Hispanics want this man recalled, because of lack of choice in school and because of crime. The people that are disproportionately hurt by crime are the very black and brown people that liberals love to say that they care about.
Now, Larry, you have been the subject, not surprisingly, of a lot of attacks from the LA Times, local California pundits and so forth, and nationally, accusing you of everything from brandishing a gun to using the N-word. It goes on and on.
It's on.
Your reaction to these specific charges?
Well, I've never brandished a gun, loaded or unloaded, at anybody in my life. Regarding the other allegations made, they're almost too silly to respond to. I've also been called the black face of white supremacy.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's one of the top hits on Google, by the way. You put in Larry Elder's hand, that's what you get, which means you're a threat to somebody.
Well, that's right. And I've also been accused of saying women are stupid. They're referring to an article that I wrote in 2000, 21 years ago, where I was quoting a study from the Annenberg School, which is a left-wing school. They asked men and women 25 questions about politics. Men knew more than women did 15 of them. They knew the same in 9 of them. Women knew only more than men in 1 of them. And the reason that the women knew less, according to a female professor who's still around,
so
left-wing.
You're quoting.
I'm quoting her. She said the reason women know less is because they get their dominant source of news from local news, and local news makes you dumber. End of quote. I didn't say it. She did. Yeah. And now I hate women.
This happens to those of us in the public eye a lot. You have a very thick skin, though. And I think this is part of the reason that you need almost someone who's been out there in the public eye a lot to be able to withstand what the incoming is. Where did you get that? Where did you get that thick skin?
I think from my mother and my father. My mother always told me nobody can make you feel inferior without your permission. My dad always felt Democrats want to give you something for nothing. When you try and get something for nothing, you almost always end up getting nothing for something, one of his favorite expressions. My father was thrown out of the house by his mom when he was 13 years old. At Athens, Georgia, Jim Crow South at the beginning of the Great Depression. Tough guy, and so was my mom. And I've been called an Uncle Tom for 30 years.
I work for Justice Thomas, so I know this terrain very well.
Uncle Tom, bootlicking Uncle Tom, bug-eyed, foot-jumping, bootlicking Uncle Tom, Oreo, coconut, the Antichrist, you name it, I've been called that. That's one of the reasons, by the way, Laura, I think I'm going to be successful when I get up to Sacramento. I'm not going up there to make friends. I'm not afraid of being disliked. In fact, I expect to be disliked.
After he showed me where he attended high school, Larry took me to his childhood home in South Central LA, and we talked about what impact he could have on the U.S. Senate if he were elected. And a lot of people are talking about potential Senate retirements on the Democrat side. If you're governor, you would have the replacement power?
That's right. The governor replaces the senator. Recently, Alex Padilla was the replacement for Kamala Harris, and I would have that power. And as you well know, we have a 50-50 split in Washington, D.C., and if anything were to happen to Dianne Feinstein...
She might retire.
She might retire. I would have the ability to replace her, and that's one of the reasons the Democrats are freaking out.
We just learned that Joe Biden is planning to come to this state to campaign for Gavin Newsom against the recall. Kamala will arrive Friday. You worried?
Christmas is coming early in August here in South Central Los Angeles. Biden's popularity has never been lower. I think I just read it's at 41% because of the Afghanistan debacle. The only major public figure that I know of who's praised him has been Gavin Newsom. So let Joe Biden come out here and praise the wonderful job Gavin Newsom has done on crime, on homelessness, on the rise of gas taxes, on the fact that people are leaving California for the very first time, and on the way he slammed this state down, ignoring science in the most severe way compared to all the other 49 states. Let Joe Biden defend that record. I welcome that. And maybe Joe Biden can encourage Gavin Newsom to debate me.
Oh, that would be nice. Don't hold your breath. And breaking just moments ago, California's still going down the drain. According to the LA Times, California assembly members who refuse to provide proof of vaccination will be suspended for the final 2 weeks of the session. I don't think they're going to think that's punishment. Now, it turns out that under Biden, though, moving on to a different topic,